Argentina. I happened to visit this country exactly when it celebrated 200 years of independence. I had 20 days there and did my best to visit the must-see places such as Ushuaia, nicknamed Fin del Mundo or the End of the World, Perito Morena Glacier in Patagonia, San Carlos De Bariloche, nicknamed Argentina's Switzerland, Mendoza with its wineries. I enjoyed the stunning views on the road trip, visited the capital Buenos Aires with its Caminito, and Salta in the north of Argentina, from where I headed to Bolivia. I'll start with probably the most unusual place, Ushuaia, which is informally regarded as the end of the world. When approaching Ushuaia by plane, the sky and the view were absolutely magical. I couldn't believe that I was actually flying to the world's southernmost city. I was flying to the end of the world. Those snowy mountain peaks, scattered clouds above them, made the view simply stunning. Ushuaia is the capital of Tierra del Fuego, Antártida e Islas del Atlántico Sur province. Full name. And here I was, in Ushuaia, which claims the title of world's southernmost city. The word Ushuaia comes from the Yagan language, Ush and Waya, bay or cove, and means deep bay or bay to background. Ushuaia is built on a slope that leads down to a long waterfront on the Beagle Channel, and here's where you can admire some amazing views and their reflection in the water. The coastal avenue is lined all along with sculptures, parks, and gardens. It's also where you can find the famous Ushuaia Fin del Mundo, end of the world sign. Ushuaia is speckled with colorful buildings, some of the most striking of which are churches. The centerpiece is Iglesia Nuestra Señora de la Merced, standing out in red and yellow on the main shopping street, Avenida San Martín. Ushuaia is the gateway to Tierra del Fuego National Park, a maze of forest lands, lagoons, mountains, glaciers, and waterfalls. Here, for example, you can enjoy the Black Lagoon, which is one of the moody scenic spots. But we decided to have a day hike to Glacier Marshall, close to Ushuaia. It is a relatively easy 3-hour hike. And because we were visiting in the winter, sometime around the end of June, July, there were hardly any people, which made the whole experience even more enjoyable. From the glacier, there is a fabulous view of Ushuaia and out across the Beagle Channel. Some of the things we didn't get to see were the lighthouse at the end of the world, an iconic image of Ushuaia standing on a small rocky island in the Beagle Channel. Another thing worth doing is taking a cruise tour to see penguins and sea lions in the channel. I would love to visit Ushuaia again, but in the summer this time, to enjoy the rest of the things I didn't get to do. But I have to say, the feeling is special indeed when you're there. Everything seems different, especially knowing that the next step further south would be Antarctica. Well, next time! I further went to Patagonia, which is famous for dramatic mountain peaks and abundance of glaciers. Patagonia is a region at the southern end of South America that is part of both Chile and Argentina. I could already see from the plane how magical this famous region was. So my first destination in Patagonia was Edgalaface, gateway to Los Glaciares National Park. Though Edgalaface is small, its main strip, Avenida del Libertador, is a long, winding block dotted with all kinds of shops, restaurants, bakeries, hotels, tour companies, and so on. Los Glaciares National Park was declared a Natural World Heritage Site by UNESCO. Its many glaciers include Perito Moreno, best known for the dramatic ice falls from its front wall. And this is what I came to Edgalaface for, the glacier. So the very next day, early in the morning, I set off on a tour to Perito Morena Glacier, which is undoubtedly the most iconic feature of Argentina's portion of Patagonia. It is widely considered the most impressive of Patagonia's glaciers. Although one of the popular ways to experience the glacier is by hopping on a boat, I chose to do mini trekking in the park. Since the glacier is incredibly popular among travelers, the park is very well developed, providing lots of viewing points to see the glacier. I was visiting the glacier during the winter time in southern hemisphere, and it is not the best time because due to the extreme weather, some activities weren't even available. But overall, I absolutely loved the glacier. It is as stunning as it can be. After one day spent visiting Perido Morena Glacier, I headed further to the north of Patagonia region, the place called San Carlos de Bariloche. I took a bus from Edgalaface, and from then on, I got around South America by only taking buses. By the way, when I was waiting for the bus in Edgalaface, I spotted these cute dogs who looked like they were trying to get tickets as well. I was very happy with the long-distance bus service in Argentina. The buses were very comfortable and there was even a bus attendant to serve your meal, which in my case was vegan. I arranged it when I purchased the ticket. But the best part about the bus was that just like on any road trip, it provided you with stunning views, endless views, and during my almost 20-hour journey, which was also during the day, I saw many of them. And here I am, in the Argentine Lake District of Patagonia, and the picturesque city of San Carlos de Bariloche, Bariloche for short, and known as Little Switzerland. Though it was slightly cold, it was clear and sunny, perfect weather for exploring the town and going on a hike. So, early morning, I set off on a hiking trip. After admiring the early morning views in Bariloche, I took a 40-minute bus to the beginning of the trail to the mountain called Xiao Xiao. That's how I heard they pronounce it there. The bus also offered some really enjoyable views on the way. So Mountain Xiao Xiao is relatively small and makes for a relaxing and enjoyable day hike. The start of the trail is pretty flat and leads through a dense forest. I could have also chosen to go a bit off the trail and would have been able to see the beach, but because I was on my own, there was no soul around me. I just decided to follow the trail, get to the top, and come back safely. These are some of the views I was so blessed to see on the way. One of the great things about traveling off-season is not seeing crowds of people. This particular hike, I didn't see anyone all the way to the top. I haven't been to Switzerland yet, but I have heard how beautiful the country is with its mountains and lakes, so I guess no wonder that they call this part of the world, the city of Bariloche, as Argentina's Switzerland. Simply magnificent views. The next day, I went on another mountain hike, this time Mountain Campanario. Unfortunately, the weather was not the best, rather cloudy, and it was definitely going to rain. So I had to get to the top as fast as I could, not to get stuck in the rain. Again, the views on the way were incredibly beautiful, even on that cloudy day. As I reached the top, there was a cafe where you could enjoy a coffee with a fantastic view, hide from the rain, and absorb the nature moments to the fullest. It was actually a nice contrast. The day before, I did a hike on a very bright and sunny day where the scenery was so clear, and now it was gray and gloomy. Clouds covered the mountain peaks, but it was still breathtaking. It was still that incredibly stunning creation that couldn't leave me indifferent. This hike didn't take the whole day, so late in the afternoon I was back in Bariloche city center and could enjoy walking around the city, which is known for its Swiss Alpine-style architecture. Bariloche is also famed for its chocolate, which is evident from the range of chocolate shops and cafes all over the city center. In fact, one of the city's many nicknames is Argentina's chocolate capital. How did that happen, you may wonder? Well, more than 500,000 people migrated from Europe to Argentina between 1947 and 1952 following World War II. So some of these European immigrants fostered the culture of chocolate in their newfound home, which in turn led to the popularity of Argentinian chocolate. So I went to the chocolate place called Mamushka, which attracted me mainly because of its name that resembles the Russian word so much. And I could see lots of Russian dolls there as well. Something interesting. You can often see the souvenir sign of Ruta 40 in Argentina referred to as La Cuarenta. It is one of the longest highways in the world and it is a famous route in western Argentina, stretching from the south to the north of the country, and it parallels the Andes Mountains. Alright, it was time for my next destination, Mendoza, one of the most visited areas in Argentina. It is known for its amazing wine region at the foot of the imposing Andes mountain range. Again, I took a bus, approximately 14 hours, and wow, the views were just beyond any words. The first part of the journey was still Patagonia, and I could one more time admire what this famous region has to offer. Mendoza treated me with much warmer days compared to the previous days in Argentina. Mendoza for me was mainly a stopover just to get a feel of the Argentinian city, relax, explore the vegan food out there, and if I got a chance to visit one of the wineries, I would be happy to do that, but it wasn't my goal. And what a coincidence it was when walking around the city, I bumped into a girl from Malaysia. What are the odds? My new friend was on a rather business trip. Guess where? Winery. So I tagged along and was not disappointed. We went to Catena Zapata, and I had a nice experience of an in-depth tasting and day-long tour, learning about wine and getting shown around the winery and vineyard. The trip was interesting and memorable, not only because I got to do some wine tasting, but also enjoy the spectacular views in the area. So I was getting closer and closer to the north of Argentina, and the last stop before crossing the border with Bolivia was Salta. Another 15 hours of a bus ride, and I was there. Salta, nicknamed Salta la Linda, Salta the Beautiful. This city is also the place I was visiting right on the Independence Day, so I was lucky to get a glimpse of their celebrations, song singing, dancing, and just be there on such an important for the Argentinians day. So much energy and happiness was there. Besides walking around the city and enjoying vegan food, I got to hike to the top of San Bernardo Hill to get outstanding views of Salta. It wasn't the easiest hike, but so worth it, for sure. The northwest around Salta is one of the most beautiful and unusual parts of Argentina. And so I went on a day tour to the desert town of Cafayate, home to Red Rock Canyons, and it is full of stunning hikes to natural monuments. Driving from Salta to Cafayate, the scenery is really spectacular, especially the closer you get to Cafayate. The variation of scenery on this tour is simply amazing and unmatched anywhere in South America, with its wine region, Andean Puna grassland, bright red gorges, jagged mountain valleys, and lots of natural monuments. The landscape is dramatic indeed, in hues of red with many geologic formations that are attractive to the eye and great for photography. Some of the areas really reminded me of red rock formations in Utah, in the US. After spending some time in Cafayate and enjoying the festive atmosphere of the Independence Day celebrations, we headed back to Salta, continuing to enjoy the striking scenery along the way, wanting to stop every couple of miles just because there are so many impressive sights. You can also do hiking in certain areas if time permits. And this part here reminded me of Badlands National Park, also in the US. How cool is it to hold something of 1,000 year creation in your hands? There are a number of national monuments there to stop, enjoy the walk around, take some pictures, enjoy the environment. And like this, my trip in this region and Argentina was coming to an end. This was my last day in Salta, and I was ready to head to Bolivia now. But what about the capital city of Buenos Aires? Well, we actually arrived there by bus from Brazil and did get to spend a couple of days before taking a flight to Ushuaia. It also happened so that most of my photos and videos from Buenos Aires were gone. But here are a few sights of the city that others managed to capture. We did get to walk along the streets though, and I loved the architecture in the city. We visited the park in Palermo, and we also went to one of the famous landmarks. Are you ready? Recoleta Cemetery. Yes, cemetery. Considered one of the most unusual cemeteries in the world, the Recoleta Cemetery is completely unlike a normal one. The place is full of carved scroll work and stately pillars. It is also the burial site of Argentina's most famous figures. On a brighter note, we also visited El Caminito, which is like a street museum and a traditional alley located in La Boca, a neighborhood of Buenos Aires. I enjoy the ambience there, bright colors, music playing from all over the place. It was a nice experience. So, how did I like Argentina? I loved it. Mainly as a nature lover, it is so diverse in nature. I would surely love to go back there again and explore the unseen landscape. But for now, let's head to my next destination, Bolivia, which you will see in my next travel series video. Don't forget to subscribe to get more of my adventures around the world.